Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Thank you guys for tuning in to another installment of Taking It Back. I'm here with my good friend Zach Payne of Red Pill 78 and Frankie Val of the Quite Frankly Show. What's up, guys? How we doing today?
I'm doing fine because unlike Sonny Hostin, I've never owned slaves.
I must have missed the story today.
Oh,
You didn't see it?
No, tell me about it. Sonny Husband, the slave owner.
Sonny Hostin, who has one of the more but she's played that reparations game so much in the public
Sure. Yeah.
of the View. She was a part of that Finding Your Roots show with Henry Louis Gates,
okay.
and of course, she was shown that her ancestors were slavers.
Wow.
And she had a moment. She had a moment of uncomfortable reflection.
That's great.
Pony up, Sonny.
It's funny because I can also trace my roots back all the way to Europe, and my family never owned slaves either. So, like, I refuse to be made to feel as if I should have to pay for someone else's ancestors' mistakes. And even those people whose direct ancestors owned slaves, I think it is ridiculous to ask them to put anything in. But when you are a loud-mouthed broad like Sonny Hostin, and you're out there trying to demand that everybody pitch in on something that is a fictitious nightmare at best, I think that you should be the first one to put the money in.
Absolutely, especially since it is not even about righting a wrong. It's about giving lazy people a handout that in a politically expedient way with a culture war that they're waging. That's it. It's all about politically expedient culture warrior nonsense. So they're not trying to right wrongs at all. And I love when we get these little moments of haha, but whatever.
It's good.
Yeah, no, that is hilarious. I mean, and the whole concept is absurd. You know, people that never owned slaves paying money to people that never were slaves as like slavery reparations.
Hold on, I'll send you. It's a 43-second clip, Adel. I'm going to send it to you right now. Hold on.
Yeah,
I saw LeVar Burton getting the bad news on that same program. And he looked like he was having an existential crisis because he's such a loudmouth. I used to love reading Rainbow when I was a kid, and he's insufferable now. I can't stand looking at him. And I was a Star Trek: The Next Generation kid. I just want to poke his eyes out.
So much.
Anybody else have to Google who Sonny Hostin was?
Isn't she on The View?
I the name meant nothing to me. Like as soon as I saw her face, I knew who she was, but I definitely had to Google it when you mentioned it, Frank. So anyway, here's the clip. Let's take a look.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican.
What do you think that
I
means?
didn't think I was my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Where do you think Puerto Ricans came from?
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty
feeling white.
interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
Oh,
Wow.
So how could she not know that she had some Caucasian in her past? I mean, really?
Listen,
Really?
you're talking about infinitely stupid people. Now, not to say that they're unintelligent, but they had no choice in becoming stupid, ignorant people because of the way that they were raised, the way that they were educated. Like I love when people do this with the Mexican Reconquista stuff. Yeah, the Americans took from Mexico and we're just taking it back. Now, Mexico sold it all to number one, and the fact that it's even Mexico is a tip of the cap to their first conquerors. You're speaking the language of your conquerors. I always thought I was Puerto Rican. Where do you think Puerto Ricans came from?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh
They're
man.
just so dumb.
Well, yeah, that's how you make a useful idiot, Frank, is through, just sheer ignorance, I guess, or developing a culture of ignorance. So you get a lot of useful idiots to push these things. Man, that's too funny. That's too funny. All right. Well, I've got a lot of stuff I guess we should get into today. It was a busy week. Well, let's start with Nikki Haley, because I think that might be the funniest story of them all. The Nevada primary on Tuesday, she lost. She lost by 33 points to nobody.
Yeah, literally nobody.
Yeah.
Anyone else other than Nikki Haley.
Literally, it was that the fourth option on the SATs, none of the above, beat Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
I love it. And she was salty about it too.
Oh yeah, she's trying to say it was rigged, that the election was rigged for Donald Trump, who wasn't even on the ballot, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Somebody needs to explain to her how the caucus system works.
Anyway.
I mean, it was ceremonial. I mean, who cares? All she's doing is making herself look as dumb as Sunny Hostin.
I mean, at this point, it's just really she's playing with house money, and obviously the media is going to run its op, and this is just her little fraction of the bigger picture, and she'll be gone before we know it. But for now, I guess, you know, who cares? These people are really, they are almost immune to humiliation. They live for it, because if you do that, it's just crazy. I don't they don't appeal to anybody. They're not trying to appeal to anybody with common sense or with any kind of sense of fashion or humor. They're always just so stiff and sterile, and they have the worst jokes, and they come out and they say things that just fly in the face. It just flies in the face of reason, that they're, I don't know. Is it denial, or do they expect people out there to try to see this as being anything else? So it's really just pathetic. And I paid attention to it less and less, but the any other candidate thing was just hilarious.
Yeah, it was really funny. And Zach, you have like some "don't waste power" thing showing up um on your screen right now. We don't see you. We see like an ad for something. But what do you think it is, Frank, that keeps them going? Like, do you think they, like you say, they don't care about the humiliation? I mean, she clearly has no path to victory. She's not she's not making herself look good, or creating any future for herself politically. Like, she's getting dunked on at every turn. Then you have this, like, why not just drop out and end the suffering? Like, what is it that's keeping
Well,
stuff like Nikki Haley going?
If I had to speculate, there's a few things that come to mind. If I had to be on the evil side of all things, and I have to work my pawns the way that I think will best serve me in the end, someone like Nikki Haley would just do, go out there and just see, you're still relatively young, go out there and test the waters and just try to keep yourself relevant in people's heads, because, after Donald Trump is gone one way or another, she's not going away. So maybe a relevancy thing. Another thing is knowing that the vast majority of the electorate, they don't pay attention to things the way that we do. They don't care. I mean, seriously, we are in a echo chamber that I don't think that most of the time we like to acknowledge. The most common denominator out there, they don't really they take all of these headlines that we see as absolutely ridiculous, and they see, oh wow, Nikki Haley really, closed the gap in New Hampshire, or she's sticking around here. Well, anything that makes it seem like Donald Trump had any kind of competition, that he was, losing support in any kind of way, that there was somebody else who had some organic, competitive, I don't know, performance out there, that could just go toward an end game scenario where, well, if Donald Trump does get rooked again, then it's just, well, the writing was on the wall. He was having trouble putting Nikki Haley away at first. He was doing a little bit. This is all laying the groundwork, I think, for people who just don't dig and don't care, and they're just occupied with everyday life, and this is really in the background for them. I think this just adds a little bit more of circumstantial evidence for why things turn out the way they do, and we know why things turn out the way they do.
Yeah, it's an ongoing narrative construction process, so that those low information voters, eventually, if the deep state gets their way, if they're able to stop Donald Trump, if they're able to successfully foist Nikki Haley upon the American people and make
anybody,
if Donald Trump
anybody
loses, anybody at all, no matter what it is, they lay the groundwork. They pretend like there is this alternate reality that's actually taking place. And the people who are only tuning into those very surface level type programs that they're going to find on mainstream television, or perhaps listening to the radio, or they're picking up the Wall Street Journal even, they're only going to see what it is that the narrative is being presented to them. And Frank's absolutely right. I mean, most people are low information voters. Most people are not paying attention to this in the way that we are. And I've always cautioned people from taking that for granted. I mean, we are in a very unique and different position than the average person. Most people are consumed with the rigors of daily life. They're making sure that they can pay their bills. They're making sure that they can take care of their family. They're making sure that their kids don't end up dead at the hands of a migrant driving a car illegally in the middle of the city for DoorDash or whatever it might be. And those things can only go so far to penetrate into the actual fabric of their lives. We're sitting around all day paying attention to things at a very deep level, analyzing all of these moves and counter moves, and most people are just not going to do that.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
Narrative building.
Like
Narrative
go back to 2020. Like think about how many people. I mean, I think about myself. People coming up to me and saying, "Well, people were just tired of Donald Trump. That's why Joe Biden won." And I'm like, "You fucking moron. That's not what happened, you know?" But they said it. They kept saying it,
And
Yeah.
those are the people. Those are the people building up whatever pathetic narratives there are about Nikki Haley's competitive edge, or her, this amazing kind of allure she has, the attractiveness that's not there. It's all the same. Those are the people who created that in people's minds. Oh, people were just tired of Trump. No, they weren't. It's the same people who gave us all year during 2020. In late April, they started saying, "How's COVID going to affect people going to the voting booths in a couple of months?" They knew it was going to last until November, of course.
Yeah.
So we needed to find a way to give people another option to vote. And then all throughout the summer that we had the Hillary Clintons and the buck-tooth, gap-tooth woman from Georgia. What's her name?
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams she and Hillary Clinton were like two. I guess Stacey was supposed to be talking to like black voters, and Hillary is just talking to all the limousine liberal types. They were the ones that were in charge of saying, Joe Biden, don't you dare give up, because election day is no longer election day. It's going to probably be election week or so. And at the end of that, we'll probably see that red mirage go away. They telegraph things. They give you alibis as to why things are predestined to go where they've designed it.
Yep.
It's the same thing with the polling, right? Like they put out these nonsense polls where they over sample the Democrat side of things to show things, going a certain way. So when they cheat the election, they go, "Oh, well, the polling always showed it this way." It's very similar situation there for sure.
Yep.
But you gotta imagine though, like Nikki Haley and the crew supporting her, because I don't think she's still in this for herself. I think and I kind of got that from your answer too, that she's kind of being stuck in this position by handlers to serve some other purpose. But they had to think that this week, like Tuesday, was going to go their way, and then you had the caucus thing is today, right? And that would go Donald Trump's way. But they had to think that they were going to have at least 48 hours to get in the news cycle. Like Nikki Haley won the primary. Nikki Haley is building momentum, and then to just completely trip and fall on her face, lose to none of the above by 30 points. I mean, that has to put like major brakes on the entire plan that they had at that point, right?
I think they were prepared if Nikki Haley did quote unquote win the primary in terms of that popular vote. But I find it difficult to believe that any of them could have rationally thought that there was a chance in hell that she was going to get any significant number of votes. I truly believe that at this point, Nikki Haley is just like, she's the dark horse who's hanging out in the back, waiting for that first horse in the race to trip and break its leg, so that then she can go ahead and take the lead, because that's the only way that she's going to be able to get any sort of momentum, if she's still around at the point when Donald Trump is no longer able to function and they have successfully removed him. Until that point, she's going to continue to cash checks, and and she'll have this, this righteous indignation at the idea that Donald Trump, quote unquote, stole the election. And, I mean, that's again, the same type of narrative crafting. They put that out there because Americans on the right, conservatives, were concerned with election fraud. Is there a certain amount of them who are going to take that narrative and run with it? Absolutely. I haven't seen anybody doing it, but I mean, you better believe there's going to be some people that are like, wait a second, did Donald Trump steal this race? Did Donald Trump rig the primary? We can't allow that. And at the very least, I think they would have some bots on social media platforms suggesting that that's exactly what he did, trying to at least get the idea into people's heads.
Yeah. All right, let's take a minute. We have a couple sponsors. Let's take care of those, and we'll be right back. First up is our friends at Love Litters. Attention, all you Badlanders with purring pals and feathered friends. Say hello to Love Litters. 100% pure, kiln-dried wood, free from chemicals, and oh so kind to Mother Earth. No dust, no mess, and no toxins. Just a lightweight solution that's gentle on your wallet and even gentler in your home. Our biodegradable litter is crafted from wood, destined for landfills, giving it a new purpose in your pet's life. Cats love it. Our astonishing formula works like magic to neutralize that notorious cat urine odor, keeping your home pine fresh and welcoming. For bird lovers, it zaps moisture from bird droppings, crumbling them away, all while being safe if pecked at or ingested. For reptiles and critters too, our mix is crafted to dilute the pine scent, ensuring those little lungs stay happy and healthy. Plus, every 30-pound bag of Love Litters will last up to 6 months, saving you money. Transform your pet care routine today. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/litter. That's badlandsmedia.tv/litter, and breathe easy with a litter that loves your pets as much as you do. And then also we have our friends at Flying Gang Rum. It's the perfect time to grab a few bottles of Flying Gang Rum. Flying Gang Rum is meticulously produced from pure Florida sugarcane, aged to perfection in ex-bourbon barrels, and then select cast finished. A rum so pure, it comes with no added sugar, colors, or artificial flavorings. That's right, folks. This is pure rum. They're on a mission to change how we perceive sipping rum. To Florida, it's what wine is to Napa, bourbon to Kentucky, and whiskey to Tennessee. This iconic rum is all about elevating the connoisseur's experience, capturing the rich history and unique character of handcrafted rum. And now, for a limited time, Badlanders will get $20 off their purchase of over $100 with promo code Badlands. That's promo code Badlands. So there you go. Our first two sponsors of today's show. Thank you guys for supporting the sponsors. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up button, the red pill button, repost the show, share the link, all those good little things that help us continue to grow. All right. I also wanted to talk to you guys about the Supreme Court decision, or not decision, I guess, but the Supreme Court oral arguments going on today. Have either of you tuned in at all? Have heard anything?
No, I was hoping that somebody can give me a recap.
I've done a bit of research on it because I'm going to be talking about it at 5. But I've been fairly convinced up until this point that there is just no reality that exists where the Supreme Court justices are going to agree to keep President Trump off the ballot. At the very least, there will be a majority who agree that the states have no power to do that, especially under the 14th Amendment, third clause. President Trump has, first of all, his oath is different. He has not been convicted of insurrection. All right. The parameters that are set out to even use that as a justification don't exist. The courts up until this point who have used that and agreed with it are clearly politicized, and they want President Trump off the ballot. I have faith that the Supreme Court is going to look at this in the purest sense and agree with my estimation and President Trump's that he is absolutely 100% eligible. Now, the couple of justices whose line of questioning that I did see, they appeared to be giving the Colorado attorneys that were working to keep Trump off the ballot a run for their money, asking for them to justify the decision that they're asking the Supreme Court to uphold. And it did not sound like it was going very well. I am fairly certain that they're going to, it might even be unanimous, that they're going to allow him to stay on the ballot. And that will take every other state that's trying to do this right now off the table. It won't be able to happen.
from what
When do we know for sure?
what's that?
Gosh, yeah, I don't know that they've said, hey, we're going to get back to you in 48 hours or anything like that. I mean, generally, you know, they take some time to sit down and evaluate and, you know, look at case precedent, but I don't think there is any precedence for anything regarding this. Like, you know, the Congress, you know, put this into action so many years ago, and they've never done anything else with it. I don't know that it's ever been used before, and I don't think that there are any cases that they're going to be able to reference really. So they're just going to be, I don't know, I guess looking at whatever the arguments are. So maybe a couple of days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, this falls short on two levels. One, it doesn't really include the presidency when you read the amendment that they keep referencing. And second, like you said, he's never been even charged or convicted with insurrection. So there's a serious lack of due process, even if they wanted to apply that statute to him as the president. So it falls extremely flat in two different ways. From what I heard, I was watching the War Room for about 20 minutes today, and they had, I can't remember what his name was, but he was reporting outside the courtroom. They were listening in, and he basically said that the only Supreme Court justice that was still kind of listening with any kind of sympathetic ear to the Colorado, or whoever it is arguing on behalf of Colorado, was Sotomayor. They said Kagan and Jackson and pretty much everybody else was against this entire thing, but Sotomayor was the only one that seemed to be kind of arguing in favor of removing Donald Trump. So
She's arguably the stupidest too.
Again, with this, you just never know, because the Supreme Court, it's part of their DNA. It's ingrained in their DNA to do the wrong thing at the wrong time, or wrong thing at the right time. It is so you just don't know right there. But this is again one of those things where I believe, as we were talking about narrative building before, the attorneys general that are in these states, whatever the hell it is, DAs, governors, the efforts that they're making to take Trump off the ballot, I'm sure that behind closed doors, they all knew that once this is contested and it's appealed and it goes up to the highest court and it rings the entire nation along, or whoever's paying attention to the headlines, and there's debate from the shills about how this is a great thing, take Trump off, insurrectionists are going to go nuts. This is again one of those things where they understand the magnetism of the effort, and also the fact that there's probably a low probability that it'll actually ever get through at the highest level of the court, which it's going to be picked up because it has everything to do with that year's election, and it's the it's a former president. It's just too high up high up on the priorities list to be ignored. I just think this is one of those things where it'll get ruled on surprisingly from almost a unanimous. If what Zach says right there is true, or Adel, I forgot who said it, that it's almost unanimous, save for one of the dumbest members of the court, which is Sotomayor, then it's just one of those things where, okay, well, we were treated to months of all this. States are rising up to take an insurrectionist off the ballot. Yes, it didn't go through and he was able to compete, but it's more again, Trump, insurrectionist, take him off. He needs to be taken off. He should be taken off. Oh, well, now an insurrectionist is running, and the states tried to do the right thing, but the Supreme Court it's conservative. I mean, it's just all nonsense. It's all nonsense to be eaten up again. So, like I said, they can always shock us, but I don't think they will. It's really just about putting an end to a months-long, narrative pushing campaign. Because what is going to remain of this after it's all done? It's just months of having people, go nuts about him being eligible or ineligible to be on the ballot in Maine or in Colorado or anywhere else.
I think it's a major miscalculation, like they've tried indicting him. Yeah,
it is. There's a lot of upside, but then again, what do they really care about miscalculations? Do they care about being unpopular? When
I look at it two ways, right? Like if they thought they could just steal the election again without much trouble, why continue to help Donald Trump in the polls and make him more of a martyr and sympathetic character? I mean, every time they indict him or come after him, he gets more popular. I mean, when they released that mugshot, like, he instantly gained credit with, I think, a lot of people that never probably would have looked twice before. I mean, they've really continued to help him with these attacks, and with this one, like even after they lost in Colorado, to keep pushing it up to the appeals court and making it a Supreme Court issue. It's like I take some comfort, like, man, they're deploying all assets to remove him or disqualify him because they don't think they can beat him. They don't even think they can cheat him this time. That also then leaves me with this uneasy feeling like, well, if they're selling out right now to just disqualify him and that's not working, like what comes after that? Like what kind of event, scare event, or like false flag, or what are they going to do to either reset the news cycle, try to like cancel the election, or what kind of crazy shit or are they going to resort to if this doesn't work? Because if they thought they could just simply steal it again, I don't think we'd be seeing any of this stuff going on. So I don't know, like I kind of get torn between like taking some comfort in it and then also like, oh shit, like this isn't working either. So what's the next escalation?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. It could be anything. Really could, but nothing. I don't think that this was actually supposed to be the end game. I think they figure why not. I think a lot of times is why not.
I think it's exactly what Adel said. They're deploying all assets because they know that there's no way they're going to be able to beat or cheat him at the ballot box, and especially with RFK Jr. in there. So the only hope that they have is to do it through lawfare. And, either they are just so spectacularly dumb that they don't see how popular they're making Trump, that they're making him into a modern day folk hero. And it's just this, insane level of hubris. They're going forward with it. Or this is exactly what they want to do. And they want to create Trump into this like mythical martyr type figure. And either way, I think it's going to achieve the same result, which is that they're going to lose and he's coming back.
I think so too. Like I said, unless there's some crazy shit that they pull, I mean, some kind of, shutting down the power grid or creating some kind of mass chaotic, tragic situation throughout the country.
If they start World War III,
yeah,
honestly, they could not hold the election that way.
They could try to, yeah. I mean, it's never stopped an election before, but I mean, we're kind of in unprecedented times right now. And I don't know if the machine, the establishment has ever had their back to the wall the way it feels like they have it to the wall right now. So who knows what they'll do? I mean, they are kind of a desperate cornered animal. At least that's my perspective of it.
So the war has never stopped an election before, but that is a power that the president holds, that they would be able to suspend certain functions of the government for public safety, shut down the election until after the conflict ends, and then allow it to happen. So I don't know how likely it is, but I mean, that in my mind would be the nuclear option, like destroy democracy to provide to preserve democracy.
Could you imagine like the reaction to that though? Like I feel like I would create serious unrest in this country.
Absolutely. I think the same thing would happen if they took Trump off the ballot. I mean, it's this is a no-win situation for them. Like they're truly like, it's like I don't know, like a dying coyote that's caught in a trap, and it eats its own leg off so it can get away. Like, it might get out of the trap, but it's going to bleed to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what else is he going to do?
Losing a foot.
Yeah. It's like they're going to shoot themselves in the face, and they know it. They have to know it.
So, kind of changing subjects here, but are you guys excited for the Tucker-Putin interview dropping today at 6:00?
Yeah, I hope it's less than an hour so I can watch it before I go live at 7, even though I don't really have that much time to talk about it. Then again, no less than 3 million podcasts are going to be giving their analysis on this over the next 48 hours. But I wonder how normy it's going to be, because the average, we're talking about average people before.
Yeah.
Average people don't get it. They don't read they don't listen to the Putin speeches that are always being, you can go and to the MOD or anywhere else and you can get Putin's speech transcripts. Whenever anything he says in public makes it to Western media, they take a 45-second clip out of there, and then they have 58,000 panels of people talk about how he is literally the antithesis of everything that the liberal West stands for, which happens to be anybody who stands against what we supposedly stand for is already all right in my book.
Right.
But I'll so I can't imagine this is going to be anything but something that the average normie has never heard before, because there is a firewall between them that is the Western media, the NATO, CIA, Mossad media. That there's a firewall between the average person, and perhaps they're going to hear some things that they haven't heard before tonight. But I don't know how much me, Zach, and most of the people in this audience are going to have their minds blown. Maybe it does happen. I don't see how our minds are going to get blown, but I appreciate anybody who tries to sidestep this ridiculous media blockade. So that there's that.
I'm hearing it's a 2-hour interview. So.
Great. So I'll have like 5 people watching my show at 7.
I'm going to be live when it comes out, so I was just considering just going to it and playing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see. I mean, the left and the mainstream media is absolutely losing their minds. I don't know if you saw this clip from the Hildebeest here, but take a listen to this.
I mean, he's like a puppy dog. He somehow has, after having been fired from so many outlets in the United States, I would not be surprised if he emerges with a contract with an outlet, because he is a useful idiot. He says things that are not true. He parrots Vladimir Putin's pack of lies about Ukraine. So I don't see why Putin wouldn't give him an interview, because through him, he can, continue to lie about what his, objectives are in Ukraine and what he expects to see happen.
Isn't it crazy?
It's really quite.
Isn't it nuts? I mean, because how in such a short time, from the time that it was announced that he was doing this interview, the media personalities, the politicians, the celebrities, the people, the public figures who have been marshaled for a frantic response and condemnation effort over a journalist conducting an interview that may be controversial. I can't, that they would have rather kept Vladimir Putin isolated. No one should hear this man's voice. Nobody should even know what his voice sounds like. It's just really incredible. Even if I thought that nothing good can come of this, and Putin really was the evil that they say he is, it's just incredible to see everybody. And this is on the neocon and neoliberal, consortium that we have going on over here. That I can imagine that even people like Mark Levin are incensed that Putin would be given a platform. He calls him Putin. It's just so crazy to me that they would act this way, react this way over a journalist sitting down with a controversial public figure. Oh my God.
Well, it should be surprising, but to me, it's honestly not. I mean, American, especially mainstream and corporate media, their quote unquote version of journalism is simply gatekeeping and narrative constructing. They don't just give objective news. They don't have the journalistic curiosity to just go where the facts lead them. They have a predetermined outcome that they're always trying to produce to the American people, and they kind of work backward from that. And everything is taken in a certain context to achieve that. So when you have someone like Tucker Carlson, who's going to do a long form interview, supposedly, I have no idea if it's actually 2 hours. I'm just going off of what someone said in the live chat, but 2 hours conversation with Putin, it scares the crap out of them because there's no editor, there's no producer like cutting out certain parts of it or snipping and putting it together. Like you get an actual sense for what the guy's thinking. The conversation flows, it becomes more relatable than their overproduced news segments that they do. So this is exactly the reaction I would expect from a group and class of people that for a long time had a monopoly on the flow of information, were the gatekeepers to the quote unquote, official narrative. This is the exact kind of thing that threatens them. And now that you have X or Twitter that not perfect, still allows for independent media to thrive a bit more, and then someone with the clout and name recognition and reach of a Tucker Carlson doing this. I mean, this one interview could undo what, 2 years, almost over a year of propaganda and narrative crafting about Ukraine, simply just hearing the other side of the story in a format that people aren't used to hearing anything in. So yeah. The reaction doesn't surprise me, although it should, because just what journalism's supposed to be versus what it's become is so night and day. Yeah. Let's hear the last 30 seconds of this here, and then we'll.
Yeah.
Sad that not just somebody like Tucker Carlson, who has, as I said, been fired so many times because he seems unable to, correlate his reporting with the truth, but also because it's a sign that there are people in this country right now who are like a fifth column for Vladimir Putin. And why? I don't know. Wow. I mean, why are certain Republicans throwing their lot in? Why are, other Americans basically believing Putin? Why did Trump believe Putin more than our 11 intelligence agencies?
I don't know. Do you have a working theory?
I do have a working theory.
This is why. This little girly powwow that's going on screen, that's the media right now. That's the media. It's a little girl powwow, sleepover time. That's what it is. It's Anderson Cooper painting his nails with Stormy Daniels. That is what the media is. That's why. If I were Putin, I wouldn't give you the fucking time of day either.
Oh, that's great.
Giggling together like 12-year-olds.
It's so true. And I saw that because, Tucker Carlson did put out like a short video explaining why he was going over there and what to expect. And one of the things he said was, why is no other news outlet has allowed anyone to hear the other side or has interviewed Putin, and talk about how he finds that strange or wrong. And almost all of them were like, we've been requesting interviews of Vladimir Putin from the beginning, and they just refuses to. Well, it's like,
duh.
Yeah, why? Have you seen the way you take people out of context and edit these things? Even people that you agree with. Like I can remember like Fauci interviews that they had to cut up and kind of edit and move things around to make him seem less like a lizard person in some of these different like 60-minute interviews. So if I'm Vladimir Putin, why in the world would I sit down with someone who's not going to just let my words flow the way I'm saying them? Why would I give someone the opportunity to take what I say, cut it up in a way that's out of context, and then spin it against me? They've done that to themselves. They've shown that they can't be trusted to allow someone to actually speak and be heard without going through the lenses of whatever it is their desired narrative on the topic is.
Well, the other thing that you cannot discount here is that they have had to keep a lid on Vladimir Putin for 2 years now, because this Ukraine war, or whatever the hell it is out there, if you want to call it a war. I mean, I know that there's a lot of Ukrainians being killed, not nearly as many Russians, but the operation that they're working in Eastern Europe, it has a very, very important it holds a very important strategic position for them, for their current and their future world goals. What they're going to translate this war into, how they're going to either escalate it or transform it, I don't know. But what is imperative to their ongoing operations in Ukraine and in the Middle East is making sure that people like Vladimir Putin never have a real way to get through to the rest of the world. And they have been subduing and suppressing him for 2 years on this, and making sure that everybody who just pays attention lightly to the news only has one thing in mind: Russia, big, scary, and trying to muscle around smaller little countries because they are Hitler now. It is the most brain dead position that anybody can take on this entire thing, with absolutely no context or history involved, but they want to make sure people stay in that Sonny Hostin ignorant mode. And that's just really what it is right now. So we can say that it's incredible that they're upset about a journalist doing journalism, but what it really is about is 2 years of media suppression that may have the window cracked or busted open for a couple of hours and then talked about for a couple of weeks, when they're working this war zone for one way or another. Who knows when the next phase is supposed to kick in? But they want to make sure that everybody is as in the dark as possible when they make the next move, because they're trying to blame a nuclear disaster or some other kind of escalation on Putin's, his insatiable appetite for power. And if all of a sudden he's out there making sense, that's going to be really, really, it might trigger some cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a full court press.
Yeah, if he's able to get some FaceTime and he sounds reasonable, makes cogent points, and comes across as more believable than the mainstream media, which is frankly not hard to do, they run the risk of losing control of that narrative, and people might start asking questions.
Yeah, because let's just be honest about this. And I said it last night. The only thing that has kept us, Putin's composure, is the only thing that has prevented thermonuclear war at this point.
Yep.
His composure.
100%.
So you can say whatever the hell you want, but that needs to be repeated time and time again.
Yeah. And what also I found kind of hilarious about the very end of that little clip that we just watched is she talks about Donald Trump, trusting Putin over our however many intelligence agencies or whatnot. They're giggling like, oh, I think I know why. The Russian collusion thing has been shown beyond any shadow of a doubt to be absolute nonsense. She fucking paid for the entire thing.
She did.
Right?
It's ingrained in who she is at this point. Like, even though it's been proven time and time again, she still wrote a fucking book about it. Donald Trump stole the election from me with the help of the Russians.
It's pathological. These people, they're like magicians in the way that they have to live their act in order to embed this in the public consciousness and to actually will it to be commonly shared history. They are pathological in their lies. This is not just, a script that they're running just for the cameras. This is something that they have to probably live out in private life to make it a part of them. It makes it even more frightening when you consider it that way.
Yeah. I mean, for her, it's almost got to be like a way to protect her ego. I mean, she lost a rigged election. And this is her big excuse for why it happened. She had everything set up to go her way. She was supposed to be, coronated as the next president, the first female president, got completely embarrassed by Donald Trump. And this is her only explanation as to what happened, right? That was the name of her book, isn't it? What happened is this Russian collusion thing that she paid for, and still goes and promotes to this day, despite the fact that it's been 100% debunked and dismantled at every turn. It's sad and it's pathetic, but MSNBC, I guess, will always have a home for Hillary and whatever nonsense she's pushing to the sad people that want to believe it. But I can't wait for this interview. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight and seeing what we get out of it. All right, let me take care of our final two sponsors, and we'll come back and talk a few other things here. We got Goldco up next. Up until now, the digital dollar, or CBDC, has been nothing but a headline, but right now things are developing at a rapid pace. It started with a sweeping executive order from the Biden administration, and now central banks are even hiring for their development. Here's the thing: a digital dollar can be used to track your purchases, control what you buy, and even seize or freeze your assets. That's why it's critical to protect your money with precious metals like gold and silver. I've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, because they're a great company with an amazing reputation. Right now, they're giving you up to $10,000 in free silver while supplies last. Plus, all qualified callers this week will receive a free Ronald Reagan silver coin. Don't wait until all of your money is under Biden's control. Go to badlandsgold.com to learn how you can get started today. That's badlandsgold.com. And then finally, we have, where'd it go? The Badlands shop. So you've heard chatter, but have you checked it out for yourself? Welcome to the Badlands Media Shop, where we've partnered with Patriot companies to offer products for just about every category of life. Browse the virtual shopping aisles and rest assured knowing that your purchases align with your values. Shop with peace of mind, avoiding woke companies with woke principles, while supporting your favorite podcasters. Whether you're shopping for everyday household items or a unique gift for some for that special someone, skip the big box store, head over to Badlands Shop first and support a Patriot business in Badlands with every purchase. From boomerangs, yes, those boomerangs, to gun holsters, from children's books to pet food, we have just about everything, and we're just getting started. Thank you, Badlanders, for your continued support and patriotism. We couldn't do this without you. That's badlandsmedia.tv/shop. badlandsmedia.tv/shop. So again, big thank you to all of the sponsors, and thank you to all of you guys out there continuing to support those sponsors over at Badlands Media. All right, I wanted to also talk with you guys about this border deal, or this National Security Act, or whatever they're calling it, where they're essentially going to codify the invasion at the southern border through law, allowing, I think, up to 5,000 people a day was in there. $20 billion to not increase border security anyway, but to up processing of illegals into the country. It would have had $60 billion going to Ukraine. I think 17 more billion going to Israel. And then some money for Palestinian refugees, and then, or humanity efforts. Also, some money to the Indo-Pacific and Taiwan and whatnot. Either way, 20 billion for the border, which really wasn't even to the border. What's
going on?
What happened?
I think my OBS kicked out for a second.
Uh-oh.
Are we back? Can you guys hear us out there? Everything, like, it said I stopped streaming, but now it says we're back.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Are we still live, peeps? Five by five, they say.
Okay. All right, good. Good. Sorry about that. Anyway, this was kind of funny to watch, because you had this deal kind of be worked on in secret in the Senate at the behest of Mitch McConnell by Senator Lankford, right? The deal comes out. There's huge resistance to it in the House of Representatives. Clearly, it's not going to pass. And then all of a sudden, Mitch McConnell kind of tucks his tail and runs away, saying that we don't support it. The very deal that he instructed Lankford to go and negotiate, he comes out against a few days after it becomes public. Has to be probably one of the more embarrassing moments for Mitch McConnell, I would say. And I think a sign that his influence in the Republican Party is really starting to wane. We've already seen Kevin McCarthy ousted. There's rumors of Ronna McDaniel, resigning after the South Carolina primary. Mitch McConnell looks pretty vulnerable at this moment too. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been very excited about the prospect of the McFailure squad leaving the Republican politics for good and some fresh blood. Is that where this is all headed? You guys think that we're finally towards the end of this rhino control?
I don't know. Kevin McCarthy left, and then this Johnson guy came in, and he's not really much better. So he's considered new blood, no? So it's really just a matter of every individual gets an honest assessment, and I would not hold. I just don't have too much expectation with anybody, and every individual just gets an honest assessment based on what they do and not how they cheerlead, and especially what they do when they have veto-proof majorities, because there's a lot of symbolic nonsense that happens when people know that their bold ideas are going to automatically get vetoed.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Well, let me ask you this: Do either of you think that Kevin McCarthy would have offered the same kind of resistance to this spending bill or the supplemental spending bill
No way.
that Johnson did?
No, I don't think so. No, I think he would have went right in there. He bent over right there with McConnell anytime it was needed. So I am impressed so far with the couple of times that that the speaker has stood up and said, no, we're not going to do this. And, you know, I mean, even in the Senate, I mean, everybody understood that there was no way the American people were going to accept that. You know, they've now come to the point where where their narrative crafting on the reasons for why things have to be done, that has long since passed. Like, you know, people can look back at the great irony of this is, you know, look back at 9/11 and the passage of the Patriot Act, and then the creation of the DHS, and it was to keep us safe. So now here we are, you know, 20 years later, 20 plus years later, and the DHS is what's not keeping us safe. They're the ones who are standing between us and a fully functioning border, and they're trying to tell us that all we need to do is give additional powers to the president so that he can fix it, even though everybody knows it's already within his purview. And we need to give $20 billion to actually shore up the border. Wasn't it only $4 billion that Trump needed to build the entire wall? And that was a couple of years ago. He bought all the material and it was there. Joe Biden sold it off for scrap and then just didn't do it. And plus, we have to give $60 billion more to Ukraine when we can't, at this point, account for any of the money that we've given them already. And it's already been admitted that a lot of it was siphoned off and sent off to Swiss bank accounts. And, you know, they have mismanaged everything in regards to that. And I just think that the patience of the American people doesn't exist for this stuff. Like, people know you created the problem. You allowed it to get as bad as possible until we hit an election year. And then you tell us that the only thing you need is for us to be okay with you taking more money and taking more power. Like, that's completely ridiculous. So people are just not buying it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you would think that a DHS was serious from the time that they were created after September 11th, 2001, that we would have had a completely shut down border for the last 23 years. I mean, that is the first thing that you would do. Is shut down. If the country is infested with terrorists, you would shut down the border. Since 2001, okay? Since December 2001, it would be shut down. Nothing's coming in. Nothing's coming in unless you're online and you are very meritoriously vetted. And then you would clean out the interior, which at that time, there was already tens of millions of illegal aliens in this country. Now we probably have 100 million. I'm not fucking kidding. So it's all bullshit. It's all DHS created more avenues to do whatever the hell they wanted without any kind of oversight from the American people. Another executive branch policy-making apparatus that has all the trappings of, I don't know, safety for all. And it's nonsense because, of course, whether it be Al-Qaeda or a virus, why would you ever be okay with this kind of a border? You wouldn't. It's all lies. And the fact that they have whatever they have allotted for the southern border now in this proposed budget, and you look deeper into it a little bit more, and really, what is it? Is it about repelling an invasion? No, it's about better processing it. That however many billions they earmarked for the southern border was about buying new rubber stamps to get people in and get them on buses so that they can come to Westchester. That's it. So it's It's all farce. Always has been.
Yeah, no, that's really well said. We've got 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Zach, I know you're going live at 5 o'clock, so why don't you go ahead and plug your show and stretch your legs for a minute before you jump right back into the saddle over there.
So yes, I'll be live on my own channel at 5 p.m. Eastern, or Red Pill 78 on Rumble and on pilled.net, on Twitter, on Getter. And I think that's it. So yeah, join me if you want to see my take on a couple of things that have happened today. And I think I may be playing the Tucker Carlson interview at 6. We'll see how it goes.
Very cool. Zach, thank you so much, man.
Take care.
All right. Peace. See you guys.
Peace.
There you go. Zach Payne, redpill78news.com for everything Red Pill 78. Frank, what do you got going on tonight, man?
I've got a really wonderful conversation lined up with a woman named Penny, Nurse Penny.
Okay.
I've been able to speak with her in the past about a really incredible near-death experience she had. So I want to talk to her about that. I want to put near-death experience on the centerpiece of the plate tonight. I have a lot of questions. I'm sure the audience will too. And then after the show concludes, I'll make sure I have the Tucker Carlson, Vladimir Putin interview lined up for after-hours programming on quitefrankly.tv. So if you're watching the show tonight, the 7 o'clock show, take a little time to put yourself into a really spacey spiritual place for a little while, and then at 9 o'clock p.m. we can all watch it together on quitefrankly.tv. The Putin and Tucker interview. Oh, that's of course if the interview is just posted publicly to X and not on not behind a paywall on tuckercarlson.com. I don't know how that's going to work, so I guess no promises until I see what format it's in, but that's really it. It's Thursday, and I'm hoping that next week, by next Tuesday, I'm going to be broadcasting most of the time from the broadcast studio at the original location. Had to do a big revamping, and hopefully, Adel, you come by sometime over the summer to see this place.
I would love to. I'm like, anytime you want, man. Let's make it happen. I'll make the trip up. You just let me know when.
All right. Wonderful. I can't wait. Adel in studio is going to be that's going to feel so good, man.
Dude, that's like on my bucket list to come hang out for an episode of Quite Frankly.
Dude,
you understand, man. I was a huge fan of yours before I ever stepped behind the mic myself. Like, I've been watching you. I've loved your show for a long time. So I've always wanted to come up there and hang out in studios. So that would be really, really cool.
Well, we should make it at least a once a year thing, but let's figure out the debut first. But thank you again for another hangout session over here, my man, and hope you have a good night.
All right, man. You too. Thank you for the time.
Peace, everybody.
There he goes, Frankie Val of the Quite Frankly Show. He goes live 7 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. He is one of the absolute best. Go check him out at quitefrankly.tv for all things Quite Frankly. So grateful to have Frank and Zach, two legends of the independent media, joining me every week. It's super, super cool. I absolutely love it, and feel so blessed that they both give me this hour each week to play with the big boys. But thank you guys so much. My name is Adel Nero. You can find me at 412 Productions. I'm on DLive, Odyssey, Cloud Hub. Twitter is at 412anon87. Obviously, Rumble. Those of you on Badlands Media, I know you guys like Rumble over there. You can find 412 Productions on Rumble. Love to earn your follow. And then, of course, pilled.net, which is my favorite platform, the only true free speech platform for live streaming out there right now. So we're a big fan of them. We do the second hour of our show every other day but Thursday, exclusively on pilled.net, because they are something different, something special, something truly grassroots. So if you guys haven't checked out pilled.net, if you haven't gone over there, watched the live stream, hung out in the chat, you really should. It's really cool. We're making major updates to the user interface to make it a bit easier to navigate. But it's got a bunch of great features. It's got a great team behind it, an amazing community of supportive, smart patriots, and man, we have a lot of fun over there on Pilled. So go check it out if you haven't. But anyway, I'm going to read some Gold Pill chats and some donations that have come in, and then that's going to do it for today's broadcast. We did have one Rumble rant that popped up at one point, and did I lose it? Let me see. Let me see if I could find it. It was Seaside Lady. I know that. I hope it didn't. There we go. Seaside Lady, thank you for the Rumble rants. Thanks for the laughs. Love the three of you together. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that. And then let's see what we have going on over here on Pilled with the gold pills. Scrolling up to the tippy top, we got Floyd in there first with his tucking it back cookie. Thank you, Floyd. Appreciate you, man. Boys Blanc says adding more seats to the studio audience. This job is rough. Appreciate all you do, Boys Blanc. Filter Dog 1 says whole crew is here. Yeah. Yes, it's always awesome when we get the whole band together. Thank you for the can, Filter Dog. Cheers. Chatty KC, Due Diligence, Gonzo Rules, Sean Joe, Gonzo Rules again. Thank you for the cookie. Sloan TV checking in. Great to see you. Says Band of Champions. Right on. Thank you for the cookie. Appreciate that. Loop the Loop. Anyone. Thank you guys for the cookies. Filter Dog 1 says 51 former intelligence people claim Hunter laptop Russian disinfo. Putin gets around. That's perfect. Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Thank you, Filter Dog, for the can. Floyd says cheers to another great show. Glad you enjoyed it, Floyd. Thank you for the can. Bacon Slut, thank you for the cookie. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for the can. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Appreciate that. Tomcat, New Jersey says thanks for another great show, Frank, Zach, and 412. Thank you so much, Tomcat. Gonzo Rules, thank you for the can. Cheers. Misfortune, thank you for the can. And Sherry Pittsburgh says Adel and Frank be great. I can't wait to go up there and do that. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. So yeah, maybe sometime over the next few months. Probably not until sometime after March, because in March, I'm going on 2 vacations in March. So it's going to be kind of a broken up month. I might as well let you guys know now that I'm going to be missing probably about 7 or 8 total shows in the month of March, because I got some things I want to go do. So March 14th through the 17th, I'm going to be back down in Florida for a the Reggae Rise Up Festival, which I'm really excited about. I'll be back pretty much the entire next week, but then the week of March 25th, I think I'm leaving Tuesday, and I won't be back till the following Monday, doing a golf trip down in Myrtle Beach with some buddies. It'll be the first time I've actually ever got to golf outside of the Pittsburgh area, which I'm pretty excited about. For as much golf as I play, I've never actually left the area to go play anywhere. I've never played outside of Western PA. So I'm very excited to go play some, courses out down south. I hear it's a whole different game and will probably humble me greatly, but very excited for that. So March will be a little bit of a disjointed month, but we'll come back in April and be ready for the summer to go full speed ahead. I don't have much planned in the way of vacations this summer, so that might be a good time to take a long weekend and go up to Frank's studio, check out the digs, and do an installment of Quite Frankly up there. That'd be super neat. But anyway, guys, appreciate you all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Let me release the scratch-in for those of you watching on 412 Productions on Pilled.net. We did 2,500 gold pills, so thank you for that. The scratch-in has been released, so go ahead and get your ticket, and hopefully you guys get a little something back for that. Let's, yeah, that's going to do it, I think, right? No other business to attend to. All right, guys, for Frankie Val of Quite Frankly.tv, Zach Payne of RedPill78News.com, my name is Adel Nero. This has been Taking It Back, a 412 production syndicated by the amazing fam over on Badlands Media. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday night. Come by 412 Productions tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be hopefully having Ben and Tina Garrison of GurGraphics.com joining us in the second half of the show. And then Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for the Saturday morning chat, playing music and taking your calls. So that's what we got going on here the next couple of days. Have a great rest of your Thursday, everyone. We'll see you guys on the next one.